Drew here.
I'm Jerry.
So today I'm going to show you the garden and we're going to take a tour. So I'll meet you at the garden. So here, ooh, if I don't fall on it and get hit. This is the solar electric fence. It is very awesome. It does a great job. It actually took some cows out of our garden one day. So it's really awesome. This is our potato bed. And that is our other potato bed. We have two of them. Mixtures of red and white potatoes. I don't know the variety. I just planted them. This is our herbs. So these just got planted like a week ago. So they're looking good in there. My bad, not paying attention. This is our strawberries, but there are some herbs in there. There's oregano. This is our true herb bed right there with the rosemary and the basil and some cilantro in there as well. And then down here we have, this is our red cabbage. This is our green cabbage. This is our broccoli. That's our drip line that I just tripped over. This is the beets as well as the Brussels sprouts are there. And then my onions, which have some scapes on them. So I'm excited about that. I'm not sure, I think there's a recipe for those, but I'm not positive, but I'm excited to have the scapes on there. I planted those in November, I think. Those are just for chives and for decoration, I guess, on your stuff. Okay. This is our jalapenos and bell peppers. We did lose quite a bit in the transplantation of these, and I believe it's because they were so little. I even had told Jerry that they were a little small, but we were going to go ahead and go with it. Big mistake. We lost a lot, but we have more in the seedling trailer to replace the ones that we lost. You always lose some in the transplantation. It's just the way it is when you transplant. You're going to lose a few. So I always have a plan to back them up a little bit, because first year that we ever planted a bunch of tomatoes, Drew got so upset when we lost two of like 300 tomatoes, and I told him, I was like, that's really good, you're always going to lose something. But he's learned since then that you're going to lose some. These are our tomatoes, and of course Drew and I have always grown tomatoes, and we've always grown a lot of tomatoes. I never have really too many issues with transplant. I may lose one or two. Otherwise, we do really well. In fact, if you look right here, we lost one of over almost 200 plants. So that's pretty good. We're just really blessed with tomatoes. Then over here, these are the cucumbers. We do have pickling cucumbers this year, which I have never grown. This is another thing that we have always grown is cucumbers, and we've always had really good success with cucumbers. We've also always grown jalapenos, but like I say, this year just wasn't for us on those. This is our okra, and last year we had a later planting of okra, and it did extremely well at the farmer's market. In fact, when we went to the farmer's market, most of the farmers had already sold all their okra. So our timing was perfect with the okra last year, and we ended up having a lot sold, and I pickled a lot too. But I did learn one thing in the okra. I tried last year, I thought it would be neat to do an experiment and pickle the big long okra, and thinking, oh, well, if it pickles, you know, it'll be softer. No, it's not. So you definitely need to pick your okra around this size to pickle or to fry, and that's going to be your best okra and the most tasteful. This is our drip line system that Drew has been putting in. We're getting there, and I'm excited about it because we've never had a drip line system before. We've always used soaker hoses and sprinklers, but the water bill is really expensive, so we are trying to curve that. This is our succession planting of tomatoes. So these are a little bit way younger, actually, about 2 to 3 weeks younger than the other tomatoes. So they're always putting forth, when you sell at the markets and stuff, you want to constantly be putting forth new stuff, because these get old. They'll put out a lot at first, and then they'll start getting older plants, and they won't put out as much. They'll still produce all the way up to the first freeze, but you'll get less and less each time. So we plant these to kind of fall in behind those and keep us going with lots and lots of tomatoes. And so this is our zinnias. People call them zinnias, I think, up north, but zinnias is what we call them down here in Texas. These are used for our cut flowers, and they are absolutely my favorite flowers. I know there are more beautiful flowers out there. However, I will say I think zinnias are absolutely gorgeous, and my favorite part of them is they are definitely the easiest things I've ever grown. They're very hardy. They just take anything you give them and they produce a show every year. The only thing that I don't particularly prefer about them is that they do get quite high. So you want them like in the background or something. The reason that we plant zinnias down here in the garden area is to bring the bees and the pollinators in, so that they bring in the birds and all that stuff, and they help pollinate all of our vegetables. So they sit at the front to draw them all in. So that's another thing I would suggest on a farm, is to have lots of bird feeders. We have actually bee houses and stuff too, to help the bees to come into to draw them into the garden so that they can help pollinate everything. So here we are in now the yard area, and here we have zinnias right here, and then here we have some straw flowers, which didn't make it very well. So it was my first time to do those, and they didn't make it. So that's what we have in this area, and pretty soon we'll have more. We're basically just doing flowers in this area, so we'll expand it with more flowers. There is also onions here in the yard area. You can't see them, but they're right here in the middle. So. Good morning. Gotta go check the babies. Have to do this every morning, which I enjoy actually. So, but we're gonna go check on the babies in the camper and see how they're faring. These were owed seeds, so they did not make it. They were corn, at least most of them didn't. This is my new squash to replace the ones that we had lost. Always lose stuff. These are my new jalapenos, and these are zucchinis. This is another thing of corn with owed seeds. This is some watermelon. These are my wisteria, and they are only 10 days old from seed. That's how they grew. It is miraculous. So cool. This is the better corn. This is the corn that actually had fresh new seeds. So learned a lesson there that owed seeds. I think the seeds were only a year old, and they just did not make it up on the ones up there. But these did, and these were brand new seeds. These are some more flowers. Some in the middle right there are taking a little bit longer, but these are all doing really well. This right here is watermelon. Yes, I plant mixtures. These are more flowers, and some are making it and some are not. Those two right there are mimosa trees. I left this out maybe a few hours the other day before I came back out because I was working, and I came back out and started my seeds. In the meantime, two of the mimosa trees seeds fell into the pot, and so those are growing, so I have to pull those. These are zinnias, and they always do really well. The zinnias are the hardest, best plant there is, and beautiful too. They put on a good show. That is my storage for all of my vases that go to the market. However, we have a wedding to put forth in 1 week, and we will be using it at the wedding to display our flowers. Over here is my Lysianthus. First year I've ever grown Lysianthus, and it's doing well. Very, very slow, but it's coming up. And that's the April tour of the seedling trailer.
Oh, hi guys. Yeah, I'm out here pinching zinnias tonight. But I just want to thank you guys for joining us today here on the farm. And I hope you enjoyed the farm tour. See you next time on the farm.